What happens when a woman claims she had to kill the man she once vowed to love? When does fear become fatal? The following case is drawn from public records. It began as a whirlwind romance between a ballerina and a Navy veteran, but within 4 years, their home in Lakewood Ranch, Florida, became a stage for something darker. According to court filings, what started with love ended in gunfire and a plea of self-defense. Ashley Benefield was known for her poise, a professional ballerina, graceful and disciplined, raised in Maryland and trained for perfection. Douglas Benefield was a retired Navy officer, 30 years her senior, who had reinvented himself as a political consultant and entrepreneur. They met in 2016 at a conservative political event in Charleston, South Carolina. 13 days later, they were married. According to court records, friends were stunned. She was 24, he was 54. But Ashley said she had finally found someone who believed in her dreams. They soon launched the American National Ballet, a company Doug financed and Ashley directed. It was supposed to merge patriotism with art, a new kind of performance. But within a year, dancers left, lawsuits surfaced, and the dream collapsed. Behind closed doors, the marriage began to fracture. Ashley later told police Doug had a temper, that he could switch from charming to cruel. She described sleepless nights, sudden arguments, and what she called a pattern of control. Doug, in turn, confided to friends that Ashley had grown erratic and paranoid. In late 2019, Ashley gave birth to their daughter, but the joy didn't last. Custody disputes followed. Police reports show both accused the other of threats and manipulation. By 2020, they were living apart, still entangled by a child, a crumbling business, and a dangerous blend of love and resentment. September 27th, 2020. Lakewood Ranch, Florida. According to the Manatee County Sheriff's Office, Ashley returned to the home she once shared with Doug to discuss custody. She said she was terrified. Her mother waited in a car outside. Doug, calm and composed, was reportedly helping her pack items. Around 7 p.m., neighbors heard shouting, then 2 gunshots. When deputies arrived, Doug lay on the floor with bullet wounds to his arm and leg, one piercing his chest. Ashley stood outside, trembling, the gun in her hand. She told officers, "He tried to kill me." According to her statement, Doug had cornered her, grabbed her, and she feared he would shoot her. She said she fired in self-defense. Investigators, however, found inconsistencies. There were no visible injuries on Ashley, and the physical evidence suggested Doug may not have been advancing when shot. Doug's body was positioned several feet away from the hallway door, as if he had been walking away. Ashley cooperated, giving a full statement that night, but she was not immediately arrested. For weeks, the case remained open, a tangle of forensics and motive. The community waited, divided. Was this an abused woman pushed too far, or a planned killing, masked as fear? According to detectives, Ashley's account shifted in subtle ways. At one point, she said Doug had blocked the door. Later, that he charged at her. Phone data showed no recent threats from Doug, though friends described ongoing tension. When the autopsy report came back, prosecutors noted the bullet trajectory, one entering Doug's back, undermining Ashley's claim of a frontal attack. In November 2020, nearly 2 months later, Ashley was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. The case drew headlines as the Black Swan murder, a ballerina claiming self-defense, a metaphor that felt too haunting to ignore. Her defense attorneys argued she suffered from battered woman syndrome, a psychological state from prolonged abuse causing genuine fear even without imminent attack. They cited Doug's alleged history of intimidation, a gun fired into a ceiling, messages of control, financial control, and manipulation. But prosecutors countered that there was no evidence of ongoing violence, only her perception of it. During pretrial hearings, investigators described Ashley as calm after the shooting, almost detached. One deputy testified she never asked if Doug was alive. Her mother maintained that Doug had been dangerous, that Ashley had lived in fear for years. But neighbors described the Benefields as polite, even loving in public. It became a battle of image versus evidence, the kind of conflict where truth hides between emotion and law. The trial began in mid-2024. Inside the Manatee County Courthouse, Ashley appeared subdued, her hair tied back, her hands folded. Prosecutors played 911 recordings and forensic animations showing Doug's final moments. They argued the evidence proved Ashley fired without justification. Her defense countered with psychological experts describing years of escalating fear, the kind that rewires the brain to see danger everywhere. They said Doug's presence that day triggered a panic response, that she truly believed she was about to die. The courtroom divided. One half saw a killer, the other a victim. After hours of deliberation, the jury rejected the murder charge, but found her guilty of manslaughter with a firearm. In July 2024, the verdict was read. Ashley closed her eyes, but didn't cry. By December, she was sentenced to 20 years in prison. Her attorney called it a tragedy of perception. She believed she was defending herself. The law believed otherwise. Doug's family called it justice. They said he deserved to be remembered as more than a headline. The ballet company they built together dissolved long ago, a dream buried under litigation and grief. Their daughter now grows up with neither parent free. According to behavior analysts, this case sits at the intersection of love and paranoia. Most relationships end with silence. This one ended in fear, so powerful it felt rational to kill. Ashley's story raises the uncomfortable question, can belief itself be deadly? If she genuinely believed she would die, does intent still matter? Psychologists call it cognitive dissonance, when two realities collide so violently that the mind rewrites the truth to survive. To Ashley, Doug had become both husband and threat, protector and predator. To Doug, she was still his wife, perhaps unstable, perhaps frightened, but not an enemy. And somewhere between those two perceptions, the gun went off. In the end, there were no monsters, only two people trapped in a feedback loop of mistrust and fear. Doug lost his life, Ashley lost her freedom, and the child lost both. Sometimes, the scariest part of love isn't betrayal. It's the moment you can no longer tell who's right. According to court records, Ashley Benefield maintains that she acted out of self-defense. Florida says she crossed the line. What would you have believed if you were on that jury? Was she protecting herself or preserving a story she could live with? Sometimes monsters don't hide in the dark. They stand beside us, smiling, saying, "I love you." This is Mr. H. You're listening to Masked Horror.